to another episode of First Down by CoachTools. Today I'm here with Coach Corry Stewart, head football coach at Ezell-Harding Christian School. Thanks for coming on, Coach.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you having me on.
So today, Coach Stewart and I, we're going to be talking about his career where he started off at Division III Hanover College and then transitioned to high school coaching in the Nashville area. So to officially kick it off, Coach, can you just share with the audience a little bit about your career and how you got into coaching?
Yeah, I can definitely do that. My career obviously was kind of built around sports all the time. Played sports from a young age, and gave me the opportunity to play in college. So, like you said, played in Hanover. Was able to be a 4-year player there. Had the opportunity to play after college. Played overseas. Played some arena ball for 4 or 5 years. And while playing arena ball, had the opportunity to start coaching. And coach has kind of been in my blood. My dad was a football coach for a long time, youth league, etc. Mom was a coach, so it's kind of been in the blood for a little bit.
Nice. So how did that experience as a Division III athlete help you transition?
Um, I'd say it helped me transition because I had to learn how to truly manage my time, um, and really put priorities in check. Because at the Division III level, it's kind of, you know you got to own a lot of it. There's not a lot of scholarship money behind it. It's more of just the passion of being around the game. And when you got a passion for something, you figure out how to make sure you get the best out of it. So you have to learn how to truly manage academics, manage getting the best out of the football, scenario that you were in. Um, and honestly, just having good teammates and good coaches around me. Um, one, continue my development of passion for the sport, but also help me see the importance of coaching around
Sure. And what position were you?
it. So, got recruited as a receiver. So, first 2 years played receiver. New head coach came on, asked me to move to defense. Uh, and I mean, for me, I just wanted to make sure I was playing and being just a good teammate, so I didn't complain about it. I was like, sure, I'll just go as long as I'm on the field. I just want to be on the field. So moved over to defense and still had a good career, which ended up being the best move for me because it gave me opportunities after.
Nice.
So but I
So,
played corner and safety.
okay. Yeah, I had a similar situation where I got recruited as a D lineman, and then I going into college, I got hurt, so I ended up having to transition to O line
Oh
because
man.
we were just thin at the position. So definitely can understand how that works.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Cool. And then tell me more about your experience playing. You said abroad and then also in Arena League.
Yeah. So man, Germany. I went to Germany. That's where I ended up playing. I left 2 days after my college graduation. So didn't get a
Wow.
chance to truly celebrate it very much with family, but left 2 days after. And man, that was one of the best experiences I could have asked for. That was the first time I'd ever been out of the country like that. Um, and to spend a year there, one, getting to enjoy a new culture, meet some new people, but also get to enjoy the game that I love so much and play it at a high level. I played against guys in that league that some of those guys were former NFL guys. Some of them were big time college guys that also just had the passion, just want to play.
Yeah.
So I tell people it's like, yeah, even though there's not as many American bodies there, there's some really good athletes over there. It's
Oh
it's
yeah.
it's some good football. Um, so enjoyed that, and then honestly, while I was there, some of that coaching came into play a little bit more because they kind of wanted me to help with coaching the young kids there. Part of that organization, had a youth flag and being a part of their camp. So again, that kind of helped develop that coaching passion again because you're teaching a lot of kids football that don't really know football.
Right.
So, and then arena, man, it is what it is. It's fun, fast pace. What I loved about it was as a defensive back, you're involved in every play. Unlike outdoor, you can be a corner and the ball may come to you 4 or 5 times a game. But in arena league, man, it was every play that ball could be coming your way. Um, so I love the fast pace of it. When I started playing, I told myself I'd never play outdoors again. Um, just because it was so fun. It was fun, man. But
Yeah,
it was again just another experience that I was happy I got the opportunity to do.
sure. And you know what? That you playing abroad actually reminds me. My college coach, you might be familiar with him, Mo Banks. He played at Georgetown, and then right after he might be around the same age as you, but anyways,
Okay.
he just told me about his career, and he went over to Germany too and played there for a
Yeah.
little while.
Do you know where? Did he say where he played?
I don't remember,
Okay.
but
I'll have to look him
I
up.
do know that he played over there for a few years, and then came back, and then I think he went back to Georgetown, and then got the head job at Gettysburg.
Got you. Okay. Got you. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look him up and see if we cross paths or not.
Yeah, yeah, he was a D back as well, so I
Okay.
figured I would mention that.
Yeah.
So cool. So going beyond your arena career, can you tell me more about the transition? And I know you said you were coaching a little bit as you were playing, but
Yeah.
when did you finally make the full-time jump to coaching?
So made the full time jump to coaching technically. Um, so you can say I got my start in 2011. And at that point, it was football in the fall, and I actually was coaching like half basketball before I went to my arena seasons. Um, but around 2015 is when I made the decision to stop playing and just go full all in on coaching and being involved in the off season, the summer, all of that. It was around 2015.
Okay.
Um, and for me, it was just one, it was just time to hang it up, cleats wise. But two, I was seeing how I could be ways of other impacts to students that are trying to, try to reach some of those same dreams that I had.
Sure.
Um, and, I had college opportunities, I had high school opportunities. And for me, high school was just more of a kind of my fit. Um, I could just see, like, for those young men, um, I could be a better impact for them starting in high school.
Sure. Okay. And then I also saw on your LinkedIn that you coached at I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right, but Lipscomb
Yeah,
Academy.
Lipscomb Academy. Yep.
Okay. Nice. And then yeah, so you officially got started as a head coach, you said this past year, or was it the year before?
So I'm currently in my second year. So 2022 was the first year for me as a first year head coach, and trying to navigate a program and rebuild a program. It's a program that's been struggling for some years, and in all honesty, was playing 8-man football for about 4 years.
Okay.
So it was a, I don't want to say gamble, but it was a faith move. It was a journey move. God was telling me to come here and start something special if I can. So
Sure. So you're still relatively young in your career. So how's that been being a young first time head coach?
uh, I'd say the hardest thing to try to remember is that I'm not a player anymore.
Right.
At 35 years old, I'm still young compared to most coaches. Uh, but it's always that thing as a young position coach. Um, I had to learn that at Father. I had learned at Lipscomb Academy that um, you got to take the player emotion out of it and learn how to be the coaching emotions. The passions are similar, but they go about it different ways, right? When great plays happen as a player, you can get all hype, you can yell, you can do everything you want to do. When great plays happen as a coach, you got to be ready to make the next play call.
Right.
And you can be excited about it, but it's still got to, don't let the emotion get too high, can't get too low as a coach. And that was one of the
Exactly.
things as a head coach of managing that, but also learn how to manage coaches. That's been a different thing for me, but a good
Yeah.
challenge.
And having a lot of these conversations, it's funny how a lot of coaches make the parallel between like a business and a football team because you as the head coach, you're really the CEO. You have to
Yes,
manage people and you have to
yes,
manage student athletes, and it's just make the parallel. It's kind of like managing employees.
yep.
And I've always found that to be interesting. So coming off of your defensive background, can you just share a little bit of your philosophies as a coach?
Yeah, man. So my philosophy as a coach is, one thing I've brought to my program is, we got three core values, and that's toughness, integrity, commitment. Those three things we try to stand on, and try to be who we are. And toughness comes from a mental standpoint, but also a physical standpoint. It's as a young man or any athlete, you got to be tough if you want to continue to go deeper in that passion. Especially mentally tough. If you're not mentally tough, you're not gonna make it.
Right.
That game at the next level is a totally different animal, especially mentally. Um, the integrity piece is it's one that you see a lot of young kids these days. They know what it means, but they also don't truly follow it all the time. They'll try to cut reps, or you know if you ain't watching them, they're not going to give it their all the time. They do enough just to get by. Now you got some that are full on about the integrity and get the job done, but as a whole, that's something that I think the current generation is that they know what integrity means. They think they're given the being part of the integrity, but they're not fully all the way in.
Right.
Which leaves that commitment piece is there's that's the biggest piece for any athlete is if you want to go to the next level, you got to be committed. Um, and we try to tie that into everything we do on the field, off the field. Each year we come up with different slogans to go along with the year, and try to make sure that slogan kind of also matches our core values.
Right.
Um, but for me, I want players to enjoy being part of our program, but at the same time, I want them to get the best out of who they can be, both on and off the field. Um, I do a lot of things that I'm trying to build more player leadership, more so than coaching leadership. I try to let the players own their team, um, and it's helped me realize that that there are a lot of kids that they know what leadership is, but they don't know how to put it into action sometimes.
Yeah. And I think, like you were saying, a lot about that just has to come with confidence and just repetitions. And the more that you can stack that confidence and you can just give yourself more repetitions at something,
Yep.
from my experience, I found that that's how you're going to get kids to truly buy into something. So that definitely resonated with me when you brought that up.
Yeah, man, and honestly, man, I've been under 3 really good head coaches, in my coaching career, 2 at Father Ryan and 1 at Lipscomb Academy. And each one of them added something different to my toolbox, as far as uh, learn how to be consistent with the players, learn how to, uh, find different ways to bring out the passion in the kids. I look at it, Bruce Lucier, who's my first head coach I've been under, Father Ryan. He just got inducted into the Tennessee High School Football Coaches Hall of Fame. Um, he was a guy that's very meticulous on the details, all the little things. Emotions were never high, never low. He followed through every little detail that mattered, uh,
Right.
from time punctuation to what kids wore, etc. And creating a culture of if you're part of this team, you're going to be a team player. There are no individuals, right? No matter how
Right.
good you are. And Brian Rector, who's still the head coach at Colorado right now, he helped me see how that passion as a head coach can still always be high, but at the same
Right.
time was another man he's very meticulous about being on time, uh, being in the right gear, uh, your energy level, like all those things mattered. And and I had the opportunity to coach under Trent Dilfer before he left for UAB. And again, it's another one that there's passion there, right? And he had different techniques of getting kids engaged and involved. And I've been able to take a little bit from all three of them to kind of start my process as a head coach and kind of build it my way while
Yeah.
also stealing some of those ideas.
Yeah. Well, that's really interesting. And like you just talking about how from each part of your career, you've taken something and learned. And I think that's like a hallmark of a good leader is, or just a good, a strong coach really is just learning from your past experiences and applying those to future situations. So with all that said, and obviously you've had a lot of experience so far, what advice would you give yourself, let's say 10 years ago when you were just getting started off?
Uh, Three things, because I've been asked this before. The first one is you don't know it all, right? When you're young and you've had success as a player, whatever it may be, you think you know a lot of football. And there were times where I did think I knew a lot of football. I'd sit in meetings and um, it's like my first 2 years of coaching, and then technically I was part varsity, mostly freshman. Um, being there with the coordinator of the high school team, and I'm trying to tell him what he's missing and doing wrong. I'm like, in my head, I'm thinking like, dude's been a coordinator for many, many years. I think he knows what he's talking about. But at that time, I'm young. I'm thinking I know things that they may be missing. Um, and I had to learn how to sit back and, be an assistant coach. Like I'm not the coordinator. If my input's wanted in that time, then I can give it. But it's one of those things. So that was one is I didn't know all football. Two, the thing I always tell myself back then is your time will come. You continue to learn, your time will come. And at that time, I wasn't thinking head coach. I was thinking just, opportunities to be a very good coach at the high school level. The head coaching thing didn't come about to about 5 years ago. That was something I really wanted to do. Um, for me, it was like, hey, be a coordinator, call plays, etc. Um, and then number three, one thing I would tell myself 10 years ago is love every kid like they're your own. Um, because if you can do that, you can build something special. Because at the end of the day, I want the relationship to be after football. Um, it was a saying that a guy I worked with at Lipscomb that wasn't a football coach but a basketball coach, and we kind of mashed it together. And one thing is, one, if you like me all the time, I'm not doing my job, and then two, when you're far gone and done with this, I better be invited to your wedding, because if I'm invited to your wedding, it means I made an impact on your life.
Right.
And that's kind of my goal with, I know it's going to be hard to do with every kid, but that's my goal.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's that's a great way to look at it. And I mean, those three things, like especially for somebody like me who's still younger, it's good to know and just have kind of the advice and the roadmap for what people that are a little bit ahead of me have already experienced.
yeah, yeah, that's one thing I learned too, man. Even now, like I still try to learn from a lot of people. Like, he's the head coach, I'm learning. Um, I got mentors, even from young guys that are younger than me that are in coordinator positions. Like, you got to be a continuous learner in this sport all the time.
Exactly. And I think that goes for anything, like whether it be if you're a player, if you're a coach, but also in any type of career.
Yeah, agreed.
So awesome, coach. Any last words you want to share with the audience before we hop off?
No, man, I was gonna say, man, I appreciate you having me on. I love the opportunity, one, to talk ball, but also two, just kind of talk our program at Ezell-Harding and what we're trying to build there. So I appreciate you giving me the opportunity.
Likewise. Thanks, coach.
Thank you, man.